we are going over CO56, which is essentially the opposite of PO55.
Why
In
would we do that then?
Warning for you. In PO55, I gave you the equation, and you wrote me the x-intercepts. In 56, I give you the x-intercepts. You are writing the equation of the parabola with those x-intercepts. The good news is that you've done all of this math before. There's really nothing new. It's a nice review of FOIL, box, crab claw, and just a basic understanding of what parabolas and x-intercepts, how they relate to each other. Okay, so in PO55, this is what you did for homework for today. I gave you the equation. Say it's x squared plus 15x plus 56. You set y equal to 0. You factored it, and then you solve for x, saying what value for x made that equal to 0, negative 7, and what value for x made that equal to 0, negative 8. Done. Right? So today, we're going to go the other way. If I tell you the x-intercepts are negative 7 and negative 8, you are then going to give me the two binomials that those x-intercepts would have come from. Right? If one x-intercept is negative 7, that means that it came from the binomial x plus 7, just like it did up here. If I tell you an x-intercept is negative 8, it means it came from the binomial x plus 8, like it did up there. Okay? And then how do you get to a quadratic equation from two binomials? How do you get this from two binomials? Crab claw or foil or box. Okay? Then to make it an official quadratic equation, you replace the 0 with a y to put in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c form, and you're finished. Okay? So it's really just the opposite of what we did. We are unsolving, so to speak. We're going from the x-intercepts to the original parabola. Okay? Initial questions. Kyle?
Why are the 7 and 8 in the binomial? Why are they positive?
They're positive because just like up here, we want to make this equal to 0. So what value for x makes it 0? Negative 7. That means the x-intercept is negative 7. So if I tell you the x-intercept is negative 7, that means it came from x plus 7, because that's the value that made that binomial equal to 0. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't? Okay, so we have a binomial x plus 5. What value for x makes that 0? Negative 5. So the x-intercept that comes from that binomial is negative 5. So now I'm telling you the x-intercept is negative 5. What binomial would that have come from? There you go. Yeah. Okay. X plus 5. Next.
How would you do it with fraction?
Good question. Are there some fraction examples down below?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go over one non-fraction first, just to kind of the first one here. Okay. X equals 4 and x equals 7. William. Now those are the x-intercepts of the parabola, which means each of these numbers came from a binomial, and it means that this 4 made that binomial equal 0. That's the whole what an x-intercept does, right? We want the x value that makes that equal 0. So what are we going to put in this first binomial that x equals positive 4 would have come from? X minus 4, right? And what will go in the second one? X minus 7, okay? What this equals, this whole thing equals 0, right? Because it's coming from a quadratic equation. We set y equal to 0 to solve for x. That's what we spent 55 working on. So the equal sign is not inside of our parentheses. The parentheses are where these final values come from. The values for x that make each set equal to 0, thus giving us the x-intercept. Okay. So we've got our binomials. You foil, you crab claw, you box. What do you come up with? What's the trinomial that these two binomials make? Maybe you can even do it mentally now. That'd be fun. Aiden?
X squared minus 11x plus 28 equals 0.
Good. Okay. X squared minus 11x plus 28. Or 0 equals. Where do you what?
Negative 11.
Negative 11 would come from our inside outside. If you're using FOIL, it would be this multiplication here. Negative 4x and negative 7x. You could then combine those.
You have to turn the 4 into 7 and make it into 4.
Yes.
So basically just flipping the sign.
Yes. Because remember how we got that 4 and 7. You know, if you're solving an equation, if I asked you to solve this, you would have factored it to get x minus 4 times x minus 7. And then what values for x make each set of parentheses equal 0. That's where the positive 4 came from. Because that 4 makes this set equal to 0, 4 is an x-intercept. Okay? Because 7 makes that set equal to 0, 7 is an x-intercept. So yes, it's like the opposite. So this would be, well, our final answer, we'd replace that 0 with a y. So put it into ax squared plus bx plus c form.
Could we just erase the 0 and put a y?
Sure. Efficiency at its finest. Okay? All right. Max is looking at the next one, that fraction. Think about when we got fraction answers for x-intercepts. What did we do? Where did that fraction come from, Ellen?
So we put the term without the coefficient on top and flip the sign, and then the other one on the bottom.
Yeah, the whole shortcut was the opposite of the constant divided by the coefficient. So if our x-intercept is positive 3/4, what would our parentheses have been? That when we took the opposite of the constant as the numerator and our coefficient as the denominator would get us positive 3/4. Elliot? Sure. Sure. Sophie?
Negative 3x plus 4.
Negative 3x plus 4. That kind of a backwards. Kylie?
4x minus 3.
4x minus 3. Okay? That constant is the number without the variable. And if our constant in our solution is a positive 3, and we took the opposite of that to get there, that means in the parentheses it was a negative 3. And our coefficient, the number before the variable, that's our denominator. That means that 4 would be with the x. Okay? So 4x minus 3. What would our second set be then? Negative 9/4. The opposite of that constant gave us the negative 9. Noah?
4x plus 9.
4x plus 9. Okay? Essentially, your denominator becomes the coefficient, and then your constant is the opposite of the numerator. Again, kind of working backwards here. 4x minus 3, 4x plus 9. Foiling, crab clawing, boxing. What do we get as a trinomial in ax squared plus bx plus c4? Max?
16x squared plus 24x minus 27.
Looks good to me. Okay. Did you not get that? Oh, you did? Good. Okay, good. Yes?
So let's say you x on the coefficients as the x. Could you just flip it around? Because I did that and I got 27x squared plus 24 minus 16.
That wouldn't be the same thing as what we have here, though, right?
Yeah, but like move them around.
So your suggestion
Uh-huh.
is to put them in the wrong order in the parentheses.
Yep.
Then when you're done, knowing you put them in the wrong order, you then flip them back.
Yeah, and then flip the sign.
Hey, you know, our brains all think differently, Alex. If that's your jam, if you want to go that route, you go right ahead. Not recommended for others, but
Just out.
You do you. Okay.
What do you do?
Other questions?
No.
Okay. The last one, x equals -10 and x equals 0. What type of equation are we going to have here? What will our final equation look like? Based on the x-intercepts that I provided for you, think about what you know, what we talked about. What form of equation are we going to end up with? Elliot? Sorry? ax squared plus bx, right? These all have to be quadratic equations. And what tells you that? How do you know? Because there's a 0. Okay? So how many sets of parentheses are we going to need here? Just one. Because we know that x is going to be a coefficient. That's where that 0 comes from. Okay? Remember that in this form, ax squared plus bx, we have that x term out in front, and then our parentheses. And what's going to go inside of our parentheses? What expression would give us -10 as an x-intercept? Right? X plus 10. Right? Because -10 is what made that expression equal 0. That's why it's an x-intercept. We distribute, and y equals x squared plus 10x is our equation.
Can we just do it like how we normally do here and just add the second parentheses with the 0? If we want.
Yes. Yes. Joey's asking, can you write this instead of x times x plus 10? Just put one parenthesis that says x plus 0 and x plus 10, and then FOIL crab claw box just to keep it kind of similar to the other ones. The answer is yes. Okay? You will still get x squared plus 10x. All right. Now you've seen some more questions. Question. Lisa.
The long equations to like simplify the equation?
Like the long factoring thing? No. No, you don't have to do that. Why?
On that second one, we use crab claw foil, right, for 4x minus 3.
Yes. FOIL crab claw box. Any of those three methods work. Okay? Anything else? All right. Let's look at some more on the second page here. Just a one pager. Oh, look at that. Gotta love that. All right. Write the equation of the parabola with the given x-intercepts in ax squared plus bx plus c form. Give me one to talk about. What would you like to go over? Any of them are valid. Damien.
Second row, middle one.
Second row, middle one. X equals -5 and x equals 1/5. Okay. So knowing those are our two x-intercepts, yeah. The whole page. Knowing that those are the two x-intercepts, what expression would give us -5 as an x-intercept? Joey.
X plus 5.
X plus 5. Okay. -5 makes that equal 0. That's one of the binomials in our expression, one of the factors. What expression, what binomial would give us 1/5 as an x-intercept? And remember that whole opposite constant divided by coefficient deal. Burgess?
5x plus 1.
Close. 5x minus 1. Okay? 5x minus 1. You have to have that opposite sign there. Right? And then from there, FOIL, crab claw, box it. You end up with y equals 5x squared plus 24x minus 5.
Let's do the rest of it just like that.
You can do the rest of them just like that. With my help, I don't know if you need it. Some of you maybe. But I think some are.
We got time.
Yeah. 6 more?
I'd say we do.
They're pretty short, aren't they? Okay. Other questions? Others you want me? I'll go over 2 more. 2 more. Sophie.
Can we do the third row, second one?
6/5 and 0?
Yeah.
Okay. Given that one x-intercept equals 0, we know it's in that ax squared plus bx form, just like the example on the first page. So we can start this with just an x. And we know that's where that 0 comes from. Joey asked if we could keep it consistent with the 2 binomials, do x plus 0 instead? The answer is yes. Okay. Either way, you'll get the correct final answer. What goes in that second set? That'll give us positive 6/5 as an x-intercept. Positive 6/5. Think of that opposite of the constant divided by the coefficient. That denominator, you know it's going to be a coefficient, right? And that numerator is the opposite of the constant.
5x minus 6.
5x minus 6. Noah, were you going to say the same thing?
Yes.
Ellen, you also? Excellent. Okay. So from here, if you just put the x out in front, you simply distribute, and that gives you y equals 5x squared minus 6x as a final answer. If you use FOIL crab claw box, lo and behold, you still get 5x squared minus 6x as a final answer. Okay, Kylie.
Can we do first or second one?
Okay, any other questions on this one before we do? Okay.
Wait, which one?
First row, second one is where we're headed now. -8 and 8. Here are two binomials. What expression would give us -8 as an x-intercept? That -8 would make that equal to 0. Positive 8, right? X plus 8. And then what expression would give us positive 8 as -8, right? X minus 8. Now, I didn't ask this before. I should have before we did all this stuff. But based on the solutions that we have here, what form of equation are we going to get? Which of the three types? Ellen?
X squared plus c.
Right. And what tells you that, Ellen?
I don't really know. I just kind of solved it ahead.
Oh, okay. What tells you that?
They're the same number except for opposite.
They're opposites. Okay. Whenever you have opposite values like -8 and positive 8 are, there's going to be no bx term. And the reason why now, we can kind of see why that happens. When we FOIL crab claw this, if you're using FOIL, that inside outside, you get positive 8x and negative 8x. Positive 8x and negative 8x combine to be 0x, right? So that b term cancels out, which it should, and you're left with x squared, y equals x squared minus 64. Ax squared plus c. Okay? Ax squared plus c. Okay. We're done going over them in entirety, but if you have little minor questions, clarifications, I'll take those. Yeah?
On the middle one, like down, like the negative x and x equals 1 over 5. You said the answer was y equals 5x squared plus 24x negative 5. It's 25.
It should be 24x because what happens, what we had here, we had x plus 5 and 5x minus 1. When you FOIL crab claw this, if you FOIL it, 5 times 5x is a 25x. Then x times -1 is a -1x. So 25 minus 1 is give you 24.
Can you subtract?
Yes. Yeah, those x terms can always be combined. In FOIL crab claw box, you can combine those. And you have a positive 25, a -1, that would be positive 24. Okay? The homework is the rest of the objective. You will have a quiz on PO55 again tomorrow. Tomorrow's quiz will focus on the solving and the finding of the x-intercept. Today's quiz was more kind of like the theory behind it. What are we doing? How do we do it? Tomorrow's quiz is going to be more actually doing. Okay? So it'll be open binders like today's was, so you can see examples. But plan on that for tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, comments, congratulations, criticisms, or clarifications? Thank you, Aiden. Me too. Yes,
So the entire rest of the thing has to be correct.
that is correct. All right, that's that math.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.